The
I'm
straight
sorry.
poop.
The
You're not
straight
allowed
poop.
to have that as your name.
The straight poop.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
We're here with the Four Horsemen. We're gonna talk to them about the Mythic Legions pre-orders that are up right now. They come down on Monday, so you definitely want to get it in. We're gonna talk with Cornboy and Eric and Jim, and just find out. And this guy. All right, and we're gonna find out a little bit about what's going on, and hopefully you guys are gonna pre-order. So let's talk to them, and I know you don't want to talk to me and see my pretty face anymore, or this guy's ugly mug. So let's talk to them. Four Horsemen.
You know, you're very familiar with them. We got, I can't believe I forgot his name, Eric and Jim and Cornboy. And Cornboy, first of all,
yes, sir.
I think it's time to change it to Corn Man.
No, because I'm a big kid. I'm never going to grow up.
All right, I like that.
Make toys for a living, so I get to be a big kid the rest of my life. So
right,
Corn Boy it remains.
All right, CB, I guess it's better than CM.
Yeah.
I don't know. Actually, I'm not going to say anything. I haven't, no, forget it. Anyway, so thanks
You're going to
guys.
ask where the name came from?
Look, no, well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure everyone knows, but, you know, there are some newbies out there, so where does the name come from?
It was just a nickname. I'm from Indiana, and there were two Erics at the studio when we first started working together, and so it was just easier for them to give me a nickname. And another guy had given me the nickname of Corn Boy because I was from Indiana. There's a lot of corn there, so it just stuck. And now that's pretty much all I go by. Even my wife calls me Corn Boy sometimes. So
And I was hoping it was something a little more sexy to it.
No, we could rewind. I can make it more sexy, but even my godsons call me Uncle Corn Boy now. So.
No, there's more. You got the guy at your work.
All right.
But
So
just
what
say
it
the
was?
way- do it with the accent.
All right. So what it was now is I worked at a machine shop, and when I worked there, this guy, his name was Jovo Todoric. He's from Yugoslavia, and Jovo, I guess he kind of equated value and everything, not in monetary means, but like how much crops or cattle or whatever you had. And so he was like, so you had a big home in India? And I said, well, I had a couple acres of land. And he goes, did you have a lot of cattle? And I was like, no, I didn't have cattle. I said, there's a lot of corn in Indiana. And he goes, oh, so you're not a cowboy, you're a corn boy. And so he just named me Corn Boy, and it stuck. And so then my other boss, who was Hungarian, would always come out after that, and he'd start going, hey, Corn Boy, hey, hey. And start laughing at me. And for why you don't go to pick up the parts for Corn Boys? So I got stuck with that, and now it's it's just me.
So now that was, I guess that was before McFarland. Right? So did you and Eric know each other before McFarland, or so it was at McFarland?
Yeah, that's where we first met. I was working in a machine shop and going to be going to the Kubert School. And I just kind of lucked into a part-time job at McFarland Toys, and Jim and Eric were both already working there.
Oh. Okay.
And so I started going there and helping out, and these guys were already fully into it.
Then you realized you had a connection, and soon you were going to take over and be bigger than McFarland.
Let's start a war. We never said that.
We'll edit that out. We don't have any of that. None of that.
No, it just came to a point where we decided that, the direction they were going with action figures was a little bit different than what they were getting into sports, and they were getting into military, and the things were becoming a little bit more statuesque. And we'd always had a dream of doing our own thing, and as a lot of artists do, they want their own thing. So we wanted to try to kind of branch out on our own, and because of the direction they were moving in action figures and the direction that we wanted to go with, much more fantasy, superhero monster, playable action figures with a lot of articulation, things like that, we figured it was time to just kind of make that break.
So actually, do you guys think that the idea for all of your brands, Seventh Kingdom and Gothotropolis and everything, did that kind of start? Was there, that seed back in McFarland, or was it kind of after you were done with that? And who really started that? Oh, before, okay.
I mean, most of the ideas for this stuff goes back to things that we've been obsessed with and excited about since we were kids.
Birds. You guys are excited about. You can say it. You're excited about birds.
Everybody equates those birds with just birds, but that's not how it started. That's part of the Seventh Kingdom line. It was just one character called the Raven, and in order to make tooling work, we created some other birds around him, and the birds just went crazy. People were nuts for the birds.
That was that one.
Yeah.
Because I think that made a huge difference on it. That was our breakout.
Yeah, I mean, did you expect you know, people that go so crazy over birds, essentially.
No.
But, I mean, they are cool looking, and you know, characteristic, or good characteristics of them, and colors and everything. But I mean, you guys couldn't have expected it to be that big.
No, I mean, because part of the idea behind Gothotropolis was that it was going to be like take a lot of elements of different horror genres and combine it all into this one fantasy world that had technology and you know, just mashed it all together. And so the idea of the Raven initially was just that, you know, rather than classic Frankenstein, mummy, whatever, like this was, you know, more the idea of the Raven from Edgar Allan Poe. Mm-hmm. And same thing, there was also from Poe, there was a character in there called the Gold Bug. And so it just was like Cornboy said, it's just a small element of this line that also had a guy that looked like a pharaoh, and it did have vampires and werewolves, and you know, he was not even, I would say, one of the main characters. But when we did the Fantastic exclusive voting system, that allowed the fans to pick what they wanted to see, and that's after Scarabus won the first one. That was the second one, and that's what they gravitated towards. So you know, the fans kind of helped drive that into the forefront, and then the rest is history.
Well, I mean, a part of the issue was that we were not going to be able to produce this action figure for the cost that it was going to, because between the time we'd made the Scarabus figure and the time we were going to do this Raven figure and all the variants of the Raven figure, production costs had skyrocketed. It just really jumped up exponentially. And we were just not going to be able to handle that ourselves. And we had friends that had done Kickstarter successfully in the past and had recommended us to do it. So we jumped into the whole Kickstarter thing. And I mean, even then, we were only asking for, I think it was $67,000 initially. And that was just for us to get like half of the figures produced. And even then, it was just like the bare bones. And we did, you know, more than triple that when it was done. So we did really well with it. And we absolutely didn't expect it to go as well as it did. And it just hit a nerve with people. People like the anthropomorphic creatures, you know, so it worked.
I think, like with the Scarabus figures, I always forget, what's the line, the name of the line itself for the Scarabus figures?
Gothotropolis. That's where the Ravens came from. I said Seventh Kingdom earlier, and it's Gothotropolis.
Okay. Confusing. Yeah, but the Gothotropolis, that's really probably one of my favorites. The look of that figure, because I remember when it was first shown, I want to say it was, I don't know if it was at New York Comic Con or Toy Fair, whenever it was first shown as in 2-Up, I was drooling. I couldn't wait for that. And it took a while. I think it took like, was it 2 years for that to come out?
Yeah.
You know, that line was, for me, beautiful, and even on a secondary market, it's amazing how much some of those figures go for.
Yeah, we're surprised. We wish we still had some in our warehouse.
It's like I won't even take my figures out of the package right now because it's just like, you guys are just way too much money. I can't even justify, because God forbid I break a limb by accident, you know? But, and I think those were very popular, but going from those to the Ravens, how much, I guess, in terms of production, how much did it increase, like numbers wise, you know, quantity wise, from Gothotropolis to the
at least double?
Yeah, at least.
And that's where Kickstarter made a big difference, because by our standards to that point, the Scarabus was very successful. The Egyptian theme really caught on. The figures, we had great luck with production, so the figures were high quality. There was no, you know, we had so many breakage issues on some of the earlier figures, and so they were well reviewed, and it went really well. So it was a really good success for us at that point. But then doing the Kickstarter, it opened up such a wider audience, because it just had a different amount of visibility through Kickstarter, because people who weren't into action figures saw it. And one of the things that was great, we saw it a little bit with the Scarabus, because there were a lot of people who were just fans of Egyptology,
right?
And you know, they wanted an Anubis or a Horus, or you know, whatever their favorite might be. And so the birds and again, this wasn't planned, but we saw immediately that took it to the next level, because there's so many people that we talk to that, oh, the Cardinals are my favorite football team, or this bird was my high school alma mater, or this is our state bird.
Right.
And so we could really see with what broad appeal could bring to a line. And I think that with the combination of the Kickstarter and that broad appeal, it was at least double on the birds. And then, really when you factor in the fact that we've done a second series of birds, I mean, you're probably getting to the point where we probably made quadruple the number of figures that we did on Scarabus.
Yeah. And nobody expected it to be like this, huh?
We had hoped.
Well, of course. It's good to have a dream.
And
right?
at the time, we thought it was possible, and then we did the elephants, and then we thought it was not even close to possible, and Scarabus made it seem possible again, and then it's just very up and down.
I guess a lot of things too, in terms of, from 10 years ago to now. 10 years ago, you could really get almost anything made because of costs. It was so much cheaper. Now it's just the cost have skyrocketed for, tooling, for the production, for labor and everything. So, I guess it was there that point kind of midway where you were really like, these costs are getting outrageous. I don't think we're going to be able to do anything more, or did that help you to, develop a system of, reuse? Or was that like around Scarabus's time?
Well, reuse, Mythic Legions, jumping forward, is the first line that we design characters from the beginning with reuse in mind. Like we've been able to use it on all the other figures, but it was the first time that from the ground up it was integrated into the line. And so that finally allowed us to take that concept and utilize it to its fullest. But as far as like the production costs and things like that, there was definitely that point, like I guess post Scarabus, pre-Kickstarter for the Ravens, where it looked really dire. And one of the things that's happened in the industry, and we noticed it a lot at Toy Fair this year, was when we set the price for the birds at $32, whatever that was that now 2 years ago? 2 years ago. It was really high for a 6-inch action figure.
Right.
But we had to. I mean, that's all we could do at the time. But we noticed this year at Toy Fair with Mythic Legions, we've been able to hold that $32 price point. But we've noticed it's very different now because the rest of the industry has now caught up with the pricing. A lot of the Hasbro product, 6 inches, I've seen it like at $22, $23 at retail. I think some of the DC Unlimited stuff was hitting like the $30 price point.
Even 40.
Yeah, so that's right.
DC Collectibles.
Yeah.
They're DC Collectibles.
DC Collectibles.
Yeah, it was hitting
the
30 and
premium
40.
figures.
Yeah, so they're getting up there. So it's just interesting for us to watch, because where we felt like we were pushing it to the limits, all of a sudden we're seeing that I don't know how long we can hold these prices for, but if we do, we're really right in the mix with everybody.
Sad thing is, anyone who purchases the figures knows this for a fact, that the paint apps, the deco on there blows everything else out of the water, and so you're getting good value, great figure, articulated, and great paint applications on there. It's just nothing else comes close. That's kind of sad.
Well, thank you.
Because you guys are killing it.
We strive for that. I mean, we work hard to make sure that when this stuff goes through production, that it comes out the way that we sent it to the factory. We try at least.
And that's, part of the reason we're able to do it is because so far we've done everything direct to consumer.
Yeah.
So you're cutting out any markups. So it gives us room where we can hold that price.
No licensing fees.
Right, no licensing fees, no markups for distributors.
No profit.
Fortune and glory.
That's why I drive a lime green Toyota Corolla. So that helped. That's an issue too.
All right, we'll bump it up a couple dollars.
That really is. That's always the, the issue that we're teetering on is. We have to give up so much to go wider with the release, but at the same time we know we need to go wider with the release to get more exposure. Right. But you know, I don't know if we can make the numbers work. So it's a constant struggle.
Now, one thing I was kind of, I don't know, it baffled me at the beginning, but with Mythic Legions, I mean, it's like, what is it, 34 figures in that line? I think it's at 34?
33.
33?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Plus
insane.
a few weapons packs.
Weapons packs.
Plus bases and an art book.
I mean, I think the all-in was like, 1,000 something, or just over 1,000. But I mean, did you guys, when you were coming up with that, now it's nice because you look at it and there's a few kind of base bodies, I guess. You got like kind of a dwarf body, a skeletal body, armored body. There's a couple of changes on that, but armor body and then kind of a naked human body. So I'd say like it's 4 basic bodies. But did you ever look at it at any point and be like, "There's a ton of figures. Maybe we should cut it back," or was there more to begin with?
Well, the idea, the idea was that we would get to that point and well beyond over time, not in the first batch, but that's what people. It's tough because during the Kickstarter, on the one hand, you're seeing people getting these comments, "Please give my wallet a break. I can't do it anymore." But then you've got twice as many people saying, "What are you guys doing? You got to get another figure up now. We need to bump it, get the next stretch goal."
We opened up like a 33rd figure stretch goal, and people were still screaming for more. We're like, I don't know if we can physically do it.
I honestly, I can't wait to really have all the figures laid out like on the floor, just to give a sense of, I don't know, scale or whatever, of just how much space 34 figures in a package takes up. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's awesome, but it's ridiculous.
It's a lot. Like, it's hard to put them all in one place.
The people who ordered the all-in packages, it's going to come in 2 large cases. We can't fit them all in one box, so they're going to receive them in 2 large cases.
Oh my goodness, that is insane! I can't wait. Oh, I just want to like lay naked on them. I don't know. I just maybe not. Maybe yes. Maybe no. I don't know.
Maybe just a pair of underwear.
Yeah, at least. And socks.
We need Mythic Legions under roofs. How about that?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Have you thought about kind of doing any of that type of merchandising, or you just want to just keep it straight up with the toys?
We don't have the figures out yet. Let us get the figures in the hands of collectors, and then maybe. But of course, who doesn't want to do that? You want to license out all your stuff, and you want to have it, breakfast cereal, and you want to have a Saturday morning cartoon. You want all that stuff.
You guys did showed the trolls for this time around. Have you thought about any like vehicles or any other like bigger type of
dragons?
Yeah, like dragons or like Masters of the Universe, like the Tigers. For
of course, we've been discussing all that kind of stuff. I mean, we've been talking about like a base kind of vehicle thing that could house like a cart for the guys to ride on, or have horses connected to, or house a battering ram, or different things like that. And we've talked about like a large rotomolded dragon, maybe a couple feet tall or whatever, a big one. We've talked about horses and other creatures for them to ride on. I mean, this is Mythic Legions; it's fantasy, so giant spiders, bears, whatever for people to ride on and stuff. Yeah, castles. Yeah. We've talked about the possibility of maybe doing like one large giant castle section, or maybe releasing small sections of castles that you can kind of build your own.
Like diorama, build them together type of things.
Yeah. But I mean, that's where cost comes in.
Of course,
to be a big factor. I mean, the trolls are 100 a piece, and I mean, they're big. They're
I mean, honestly,
like
I don't think that price is really that bad, because you're getting
and they're solid. Yeah, and they got the soft goods, and the paint apps are amazing on them.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're roto molded, so. There's a little bit less articulation based on that, and some people don't like it because it's not as heavy as it's solid PVC. That's what we wanted to make sure that with the soft goods and the paint and the detail and everything, we just pushed it as far as it could, so that for $100, you're gonna get it. You feel like you're getting something special.
Yeah, I'm sure if it was like more of a solid, or more, if it was all PVC, let's just say. The weight would have been probably double, maybe even triple. But then, you know, I'm sure the molds and the materials to inject it, and even shipping. I'm sure all of that's the costs would have just jumped, and the price of the figure would have been like probably 150, 200, or you know, who knows?
You don't want an item that's going to fall off the shelf and injure somebody seriously either.
No.
Or shatter.
Yeah, I'm more worried about the
The
toy
old,
breaking.
the old pit Build-A-Figure, if it fell over, it'd shatter. In the pre-orders for the Trolls, have you seen a good number of pre-orders so far, even though it's not closed out yet, compared to the smaller scale figures?
Surprisingly, yes. Even with the price point that's almost triple what a basic figure is, we've surprisingly got an inordinate amount, far more than we thought we were going to get orders for the Trolls. So they're doing really well. The Forest Troll seems to be a bit more popular than the Stone Troll. We'll take that into consideration when we do future Trolls or monsters or whatever, but they're both selling really
Now,
well.
why do you think that is?
Oh, I'm sorry, the Forest Troll is the green one with the big
With the big
schnoz.
nose, right?
Yeah, and the Stone Troll is the gray one with the...
So the Forest Troll is outselling the Stone Troll?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
I would have thought it was the other way around.
Yeah, in the office it was like kind of 90% Stone Troll
Yeah.
and 10% Jeff.
It's doing really well. They're both selling really well, but the Forest Troll's definitely the favorite.
I would say, but the reality is the most popular option out of the two is both.
Yeah, because we've got it where you can buy the full set all in, and we've got it where you can buy the Trolls as a 2-pack set.
Oh, okay.
And those are both more popular than the single Trolls, but when you look at like single sales, then the Forest Trolls outselling them.
Well, I guess technically
Stone
still
Troll.
the Forest Trolls will still outsell because the other ones are equal. I mean, you would just basically discount those because it's all equal anyway.
Well, just I guess what I'm saying though is when you look at like as a whole, the discrepancy, you know, if it's just single sales, it might be like 30 or 40 difference, but that like in just the single sales, that's a huge difference. When you put it all together, it's like okay, they're not that far off.
Now, I have a very serious question about pushing the envelope on those Trolls.
Could they have feisty bodies?
No, that would be awesome. No, close though. If you lift up their loincloths, are there ding dongs underneath? Because you know Trolls have ding dongs.
Do they?
Sure, why not?
Well, that's why they're wearing underwear.
Okay.
Don't let him tell your kids
It
stories
looks
before
like
they
a
go to bed.
burlap diaper underneath. For real.
Purposefully.
For people
for
like
that
you.
purpose. Because we know we want little kids playing with these things too. So.
Definitely.
Mommy, Daddy.
Well, we got to teach them the facts of life, right?
Not off
we
of
don't.
a troll though.
Yeah.
Get the birds and the bees. Well, you can have the birds and
That's
the
not our
trolls.
It's a
responsibility.
trolls and the
Let me hand this back off. Why am I holding this? Here, you hold this. You're my tripod. That does not sound right.
I'll show you a tripod.
So, I guess just to wrap it up, because you guys definitely got to get going. For Mythic Legion Series 2, are we going to have, 66 figures in this one?
not if we can help it.
I mean, really, we're going to try to avoid that large amount again. But if the fans keep buying them and the stretch goals keep hitting, I mean,
You have no choice.
yeah, we really don't.
Yeah. I mean, keep popping that money into that Kickstarter. Just cha-ching, cha-ching,
You get to a
cha-ching.
Pre-order.
certain point, though, like we got 33. I think if we'd have gone much farther, it might have been our breaking point where we couldn't have handled it. But
Yeah.
33 it's a crazy number, but it's still reasonable as far as getting them done through the factory and everything. So
Yeah.
doing many more than that would be tough.
You think you'll do again also like on battle packs and like with the weapons packs, whatever, and then like with the standards? I mean, like a nice variety of extra accessories.
Probably try to do a couple different things. Like I based on some of the designs, probably maybe less accessory packs and maybe a couple less, but maybe a couple more like new sets of wings.
Oh yeah.
People have been asking for like extra heads and stuff like that too. So.
That's always cool, yeah. And then it encourages
There
them
have
to
been
buy
people-
2 figures.
Well, there have been people who are saying, "Can I just get a pack of like a bag of like 10 skulls
Oh yeah.
painted differently?" And I'm like, "It's a possibility. Why not?"
Anything's possible, yeah. Now, also the factions, because you have the standards, and the standards are for the different factions. Will there be new factions, or are they just going to piggyback off of what is already there? Because you're going to have like new types of characters.
They'll be
right?
within, but for the most part, they'll be within the factions. I mean, there's already 10, so it's a lot. What I think we might see with this though is there might be like some sub factions. Like a lot of people are really interested in the Templar Knight that's in this most recent pre-order, and so somebody was asking us what faction they were in. We know what faction they're in, but within that faction, the Templars may be more like a special forces unit. So they might have like a subversion of the faction symbol or something like that. But I mean, eventually there I think will be, but at this point, it's still so new. There's no reason to start complicating things too much.
Yeah, we really haven't filled out
Exactly.
each of the different factions all that much.
Yeah, some of the factions only have one character so far, so we need to
33, there's 33 figures and 10 factions, so we got to start filling some of those out first. But.
Yeah. Now, I don't remember if the new types of characters were mentioned or not. Hi. But do you want to say kind of the types of characters that you're planning on for Mythic 2?
A lot of people have been asking for females. A lot of people have been asking for elves and stuff, and we're working on both of those to hopefully have them in Mythic Legion. Females are definitely going to be in there.
A lot of people have been asking for $1 million, but you know, can't get everything.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, a lot of people ask why are there no females in the first wave of Mythic Legions, and it's because we needed to use reusable tooling, and with the parts and stuff that we'd made for the original figures, none of those really fit the female form, or at least what the classically thought of female form would be.
Right.
So
yeah, I mean, it's more of a thinner, elongated body type.
Right.
Now I'm trying to think of what other.
not wayfish. What we've done so far,
Yeah, like
they look,
Amazonian
they're
type.
powerful
Right.
looking.
But they're not just, you know, super beefy like the barbarian style men. Anyway.
So we'll see some like fairies or witches or like Amazonian type of.
All possibilities. I mean, you know, it's not even 100% planned out at this point, but you'll definitely see, you know, knight style females. You'll definitely see barbarian style. You know, we don't want to give every single thing away, but you'll definitely see females. You'll definitely see elves. If we can make it happen, you'll see goblins.
I see a fairy right there.
We already showed 4 of the upcoming figures for Mythic Legions 2 at Toy Fair. One of them is here on the table.
What are you doing? What are you looking at?
His nails.
Oh yeah, my nails have been called into question. They're trimmed. So now like the 4. Okay, so like with this new guy's head, which is actually, I don't know how well you could see that one. Some people were debating, they thought it was just a skull head.
It's not.
And it's definitely not. Superior artists like ourselves know this. We look at it, we see. Boogers. But it is more of like a shriveled kind of
an emaciated, gaunt looking.
Yeah.
Kind of a ghoul.
What kind? Let's look at the toy, not me.
Somewhere in between a zombie and a mummy.
Yeah. And then, do you have any idea how many figures you get out of that head?
We'll at least do the ghost, and we'll do a version of it fully painted with a different type of character. So yeah, it would be like a ghoul or zombie, whatever race we decide fits in with the mythos better. Yeah, everything. The 4 that we showed all had newly tooled parts. That's why they weren't in this 1.5 release.
Right.
Yeah, like so. This guy, he's got the head, the wrist shackles, the neck shackle, and the metal ball down here.
And he'll have real chain.
Real chains.
That's a hell of a lot of chain. So so this was originally this was just kind of wrapped around there. That's how it was when I saw it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I don't know. It looked actually, I thought it was kind of cool.
That's kind of
cool. On there. Yeah,
that's the fun of this. There's a lot of room for
definitely
just customizing and being creative.
Shackles and the neck.
And each one of these 2, as well as the ones that the 1.5 figures, all have at least one of the weapon pack weapons.
Right.
So, although not technically new tooling. For some people, it'll be the first time that they have a chance to get these.
Right. All right. I'm running out of questions here. You got anything else you want to add besides my lovely face?
I'm looking forward to all these pre-orders, the Mattel Thundercat stuff.
Yeah.
Loving it.
Awesome.
Master Universe stuff, loving it.
Thank
Can't wait to see it. Hopefully, maybe both of us gentlemen come back at a future date. See some stuff you got in
Yeah.
Four Horsemen.
And
It ends Monday, 3 days from today. So
oh shit! I guess I'm gonna have to put this up.
yeah, you're gonna
tonight.
have to put that up.
Now
Now you got to work when you.
Ah, dang! All right, gonna have to upload it. Do some quick editing.
I gotta pre-order my trolls.
Better get on it. Yeah, I mean, do you guys like? I guess like with all pre-orders and the Kickstarters, there's always that last day uptick of orders, right? It just jumps.
That's why we try to have our like pre-order things in on Monday, because we know people are like really busy during the week. So, you know, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday they've got time to sit down in front of the computer and place orders if they want to.
I guess at least with this, it's not like, I know for some of the Kickstarters that I did, you know, you wait to the end to see, well, what's going to unlock. I want to see everything that I'm going to get on this all in. Is it worth it? You know, at least with this, it's like, this is what you're getting.
This
I mean,
is
this is the order, and you want it or you don't. You know,
No stretch goals on our pre-order.
Maybe a hearty thank you, but you know. But yeah, so yeah, hopefully get some good orders on that. I want to see some more large. I want to see some more trolls, because it's possible to different deco and different heads and different weapons. I want to see a shit ton of trolls, and then whatever's next. You know, like I said, dragons and other crazy stuff. But anything else you guys want to throw out there? Or?
No, just, I mean, we actually said it in a press release that we sent out today, but the support on both Mythic Legions 1.5 and the initial Mythic Legions Kickstarter and the pre-orders through Store Horsemen have been tremendous, and we really appreciate everybody's support and everybody, you know, coming to the front and like showing their support for, you know, small action figure companies, just trying to get this stuff out there into the hands of collectors. And so, thanks, we appreciate it.
Absolutely, thank you.
Never thought I would see such non-licensed line just go crazy. I mean, you got the Vitruvian hacks, which are pretty cool,
Yeah.
but I mean, you know, you guys did blow that out of the water. So
We blow it out of the water. We eat past.
blow it out.